In this module, we'll discuss focus groups, which traditionally have been the most commonly used qualitative research technique. In fact, they are the first thing many people think of when they think of qualitative research. There are good reasons why focus groups are so widespread in use. They can be set up pretty quickly. They are quite cheap compared to a survey, although not on a per respondent basis. They allow you to connect with your target audience in a meaningful way by allowing you to hear firsthand what they think. And they are versatile, meaning you can do a lot of different things in a focus group apart from just talking. There is a standard or traditional type of focus group, and over the years some variations on the standard group have emerged. In a standard group, a group of 8 to 12 people sit around a table and respond to a set of questions posed by a moderator. The moderator follows a discussion guide that he or she has prepared beforehand to direct the discussion. The discussion typically lasts from 60 to 90 minutes. A video feed of the discussion is watched by people from the client's company. In the old days, they would sit behind a one-way mirror, and the video is recorded. Mini groups are very similar except for a smaller size group, typically 4 to 6 people. A two-way group consists of two focus groups running in parallel. The discussion in the first group is watched by participants in the second group. The second group can then comment on and discuss what they're hearing from the first group. This model can be useful in some situations. For example, in a discussion about a pharmaceutical drug, the first group might be a group of patients discussing their symptoms and treatment, and the second group might be a group of physicians who can comment on what the patients are saying. In an online group, the participants are not physically in the same location, but they meet in an online forum to discuss the topic. As mentioned earlier, one of the nice things about a focus group is its versatility. You can combine it with other tasks or assignments to get richer data. For example, you can ask people to make a collage to represent what images they associate with the brand. Or you could do a taste test or show people ads. The possibilities are endless. One issue to consider is the composition of the group. Should it be relatively homogeneous, or should it be as diverse as possible? In most cases, a homogeneous group is preferred because it increases the comfort level of the participants if they see other people like them in the group. They become more willing to express their opinion freely. So if you have different segments in the target audience that you want to study, you are better off running a separate focus group for each of them. A diverse or heterogeneous group is preferred only in the case where you are brainstorming for ideas, and having more people with different mindsets and experiences will improve the quality of the discussion. So what is involved in setting up and conducting a focus group? Well, first, you have to recruit participants, and this is typically done over the phone or online by giving people a short questionnaire called a screener. The purpose of the screener is to screen out people who are not eligible to participate. For example, people who don't use the product category, or who have some affiliation with the manufacturer, or who have participated in a focus group in the last year. This last criterion, having participated in a focus group recently, is used because we don't want people who are frequent participants in focus groups, as they will be more at ease in the group and may end up dominating the discussion. The other thing you have to do before running a focus group is to prepare a discussion guide, which lists the topics and questions to be discussed, and the sequence in which they are to be discussed, and how much time is to be spent on each topic. The discussion guide helps the discussion stay on track and ensures that the group does not run out of time to discuss key topics. The guide also shows the sequence of questions to be discussed, which is very important. You want the discussion to flow from general to specific topics because this will allow people to give more thoughtful answers. In addition, you should first ask people about their behavior, as this will help them remember their attitudes and perceptions. For example, in a focus group on cereals, you might start by asking how often they have breakfast, what they eat for breakfast, etc. And then move on to what types of cereals they like and what attributes they consider important in choosing a brand of cereal. And then finally, you can ask about specific brands, whether they've heard of them, whether they've ever bought them, what they think of them, etc. It must be obvious now that the moderator plays a key role in this process. In fact, having a good, trained moderator can make all the difference to the quality of the discussion. The moderator's primary task, of course, is to ensure that the discussion guide is followed and all the topics are discussed in the right sequence. But he or she is also responsible for developing a rapport with the participants so that they feel comfortable participating in the discussion. And he or she must ensure that everyone in the group participates for roughly the same amount of time, and that no one tries to dominate the discussion, or hog the mic, as the expression goes. Finally, the moderator and the observers who are watching the discussion can learn a lot by looking at body language. They can tell when someone is bored, or engaged, or feels strongly about something, or is reluctant to reveal something. Reading body language, which is called nonverbal data, is something of an art. We all believe that we are good at interpreting body language, but in fact many of the popular beliefs about this are incorrect. Think you can spot a fake smile? Open the PDF file of this slide and click on the link below. You can take a test to see how good you really are, and you might be surprised. What are some of the advantages of focus groups? The main one is the richness of the data that you can get from a focus group. In a well-conducted focus group, the respondents freely share their thoughts and feelings and feel encouraged to do so because others are doing the same. So you can get a lot of information from the group about a whole range of topics. Another advantage, as we've already talked about, is flexibility, because you can combine so many different tasks and exercises with the group discussion. You can also do an in-depth study of special respondents who ordinarily would be hard to come by in a random survey. People with specialized experiences or skills or needs. Finally, you can use focus groups for a variety of applications, such as getting an understanding of consumers and the language they use, interpreting the results of a quantitative survey, brainstorming for new product ideas or creative ideas in developing advertising. As much as focus groups are popular, they have been increasingly coming into disfavor over the past few years, and it is important to be aware of some of the pitfalls associated with using them. First, you must remember that focus groups are not generalizable to the population. They can give you a lot of rich data about a small number of people, but these people do not represent the population. Even if you ran a large number of focus groups, you could not pool the results and claim to have a large sample because these are not randomly selected samples. So at best, they can give you some insight into what some people think and feel, but these results must be verified by a quantitative survey. Second, in the excitement of hearing directly from consumers, managers sometimes forget the first limitation. They take a few remarks heard in the group and assign undue importance to them, potentially resulting in a serious misreading of the findings. Finally, while focus groups are considered to be relatively inexpensive compared to other forms of data collection, they are not cheap if you look at the cost per respondent. A focus group of 10 people can typically cost $3,000 to $5,000 to run, including incentives to the participants and fees to the moderator and the cost of the facility. That means you're spending $300 to $500 per person, which is not a small sum by any means. Much has been made of online focus groups, which of late have become a popular alternative to the traditional focus group. It's easy to see the advantages. Participants don't have to be in the same physical location. They can join the group from anywhere in the world. So online groups are cheaper, more convenient, and easier to analyze, since all the data are recorded online. In addition, the fact that participants are not in the same room together, and presumably in a place that they are comfortable in, makes them less inhibited and more honest. But that same aspect, the absence of face-to-face interaction, quickly becomes a disadvantage because the group dynamics are absent and the respondents are less easily able to respond to each other. It's also difficult to see participants' body language through a small video screen. So overall, a lot of the rich data that we talked about is missing in this type of group. Finally, an online focus group loses some flexibility as well. You cannot do taste tests or collage type exercises, for example, and the ability to demonstrate products or show advertising or other stimuli also becomes limited. On balance, it is important to recognize both the advantages and downsides of running an online focus group.